everybody, and welcome back to the NLC Div 2. I'm joined by a, as typically, pixelated Jamada, as we're getting ready to break down Munster versus UniQ for our third game of the day.
Typically pixelated.
Mate, yeah, like, no matter where you are, I swear you're always on a pixelated camera. I don't know
I'm
why.
not Dagger, mate. I'm not. It's not the Daggertron. Yeah. Pipe down.
I go back to, like, what was it, UKLC last year or the year before, whenever that was.
The best part about that is July. It's like the month of July is actually just cursed for internet because I had no internet earlier on this month as well,
Yeah,
just by sheer chance. Just
I
shit.
mean,
Shit. I'll tell you about it later because it's definitely a story that's a bit weird to tell on broadcast. So sorry, guys.
I've literally been having internet disconnect all week, all month as well. So maybe July just is a bad month for the internet.
I guess so.
Don't know. Guess we'll find out. But here we go. We're into picks and bans for Munster versus UniQ. These two games, and this is actually these two teams are one win apart from each other. And this is the one, Jamada, you were saying you were excited for today. So this is going to be a really, really big game. The Pike and the Yumi are our first two bans as well.
Yeah. This is probably the most important game for the standings today when it comes to the playoffs race because have to remember Munster have the head-to-head already with UniQ. So if they win today, not only will they tie UniQ, they will have the head-to-head, and that is the first stepping stone to making it into playoffs. And not only that, UniQ, Rising Dawn also lost their game today. Domino even also lost their game today. So they would be the final stepping stone in the sense of the bottom three in that playoffs by losing all of their games today. So huge, huge game to win. Now, even additionally with the added context of the results prior today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a very, very important game for Munster to find the win. But you know, they do have to first of all find that win. As we're seeing the bands coming down, they're looking just to take away some comfort picks here from Gameday, taking away the Draven as their third and final ban. UniQ on the other side, looking towards that Callista from Rebellious. We'll see what the first pickup is going to be. It's interesting how a lot of the teams now we moved on to 12-13 are leaning away from that Gnar first pick and actually leaning into other things as well as the Renata going to be the first pickup here for Munster.
Yeah, I mean, Gnar still a very powerful first pick, right? You have to remember Seraphine, that's the huge one that got left up throughout all of these bans. With a lot of target bans on Munster's side, means that this power pick's been left up because Yumi, Gangplank, and Callista were the bans of choice from UniQ. Gnar, like we already mentioned, up and available. Aphelios also up and available if UniQ want it. Zeri too. The list just continues to go on for all of these power picks, so it's more about what UniQ really want to pair down towards the bottom side with this potential Seraphine bottom lane. Nautilus kind of maybe early indicates to me that's going to be Seraphine, Nautilus bottom lane, because I feel like that's a pretty strong like CC duration duo. But
Yeah.
now over to Munster. With the Renata there, the choice for the high scaling AD carries is definitely a very big possibility. I was going to actually just mention the very tried and tested Aphelios and Zeri, but Jinx also works just fine too. And you even have the option to try and pick up the Poppy here at the same time, just as the strongest, you know, available jungler on patch. It seems like that could probably be the default pick, unless Munster want to pick up something like Harbo on the Azir to try and give them a little bit of range. Silas not even a terrible pick either because of the
That's an amazing
very
pick.
strong ultimates already available. It also dissuades the potential of a Gnar blind on the opposite side for UniQ. So honestly, pretty strong rotation there from Munster.
Yeah, no, I actually really like this. You see this quite a lot actually when we see the Seraphine get picked up, as even though it's not in lane versus the Seraphine. I mean, Seraphine can be flexed between bot and mid. I guess so. Actually, I'm completely wrong on that. But you do see the Silas as an answer, because even if they're not in the same lane, you can steal away that ultimate and kind of get that turnaround tool. Seeing what the potential answer is going to be here from UniQ in the mid lane, thinking about a couple of things right now, but they are going to lock in the Yone. This is something we do actually quite frequently see picked up into the Silas, because he can't Kingslayer you because he spends half the time bloody airborne. And then you just jump away before he can get on you. And you can take these kind of quick trading patterns where Harbo just doesn't get the opportunity to sustain himself back up.
Yeah, it's still, though, a very volatile lane. Let's not forget that. So I think jungle intervention is going to be huge. I'm curious to see whether Munster are going to try and tighten down the Sidera's potential champion picks to go alongside this Yone. The Talia is one that we've seen a couple of times. The other big obvious one is that Lilia. The setup from the sleep, the Lowing Lullaby into potential Fate Sealed is always a looming threat. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them take that away. Of course, footnote, we do have the Sidere here on Unique's lineup. Shafty has been moved to the bench, so this is, I believe, the Sidere's first game. I don't think he played last week. If I remember the posts and the timings correctly, it happened over the weekend, so this will be a very important debut match for the Sidere. Of course, we had him on Nariki in spring. Unfortunately, the roster itself didn't particularly have the most positive impact, but the Sidere was one of the few shining lights on that roster, so let's see what he can get done here today.
All right, well, the bans are coming through. The final ban is going to be on the side of Munster. They've already taken away the Tilir, the Na, and the Viego have been banned away. Curious to see what the answer is going to be in this jungle pool. I'm assuming from the side of UniQ, they're probably just going to pick their jungler up here and get counter pick in the top lane. The Gwen definitely is what Munster are banning away, because they also kind of thinking the same thing. They don't really want to pick someone up and then get countered by the Gwen, or, you know, just letting them blind to pick the Gwen even as a potential here. And actually looking towards something that's going to be able to power farm the Udyr. I'm not sure about the Udyr into this team, but I guess we'll see. Final pick, though, is going to come through for Munster, and now they can look to try and answer out this Udyr and also pick themselves a comfortable top laner. If they just want to pick some team fighting here, you've got the likes of the Ornn, especially when the Na and the Gwen have been taken away. The Ornn could fit fairly comfortably into this team.
Yeah, Trundle on a lot of Bruiser, a lot of Engage, which is definitely very necessary right now. They go towards that Trundle for Shakal. Questions over the Udyr. Yeah, definitely it might seem a little bit strange, but I think at the moment these lanes need a jungler that can kind of just be there for them, right? And I think Udyr really can fulfill that role quite, like, effectively, just off the back of full clears to the correct side of the map.
That's a
So playing
Shyvana.
with the idea of a Shyvana blind, and it does get locked in. So we'll talk about that pick once we get into game. It's definitely one that we've seen show up on occasion, but certainly blind is a little bit risky into a team composition like this with a lot of sustain already on front line. It does strike me as a bit of a strange time to go for this Shyvana angle, but maybe Skua has something in his tank that we don't know about, specifically Neosto. Pick the Leer, has the counter pick into this Shyvana, and he's going to look towards the Renekton pick. So off the get-go, UniQ, a lot of priority specifically on the side lanes. I think in the mid lane, again, it's a volatile lane. Jungle intervention is the key thing to note there for the mid lane. That's going to be the massive thing. Which jungler makes it first to the mid lane to try and capitalize on some of these trades? That's the huge thing. Also, bottom side roams from Ron Bengi and Fastleg. I think it's honestly a lot of this action early on is going to rotate around this mid lane. So I think there's priority from both these side lanes on UniQ. Maybe Skua has it up on the top side, and I just don't know the matchup too well. But definitely looking at how these teams react to this mid lane matchup, because I think on either side, it's more about the push and pull of the wave states and then actually rotating to where the action is.
Yeah, this mid lane is going to be probably central, and I know technically it is central, but it is going to be central to all of the action, especially in the early game. I do look at these comps and I go, right, how's the scaling look? How's the damage going to look as we get later on into the game? Because today, a lot of our games have gone late. You know, you've got the Jinx, so you've got scaling opportunities there, but, you know, Yone also scales pretty well. You got the Seraphine, like team fighting tools. I think UniQ have got some incredible stuff to work with, a lot of crowd control, and that can just give Eden a lot of breathing room to find the perfect ultimates, find the perfect moments to try and blow everybody up. And, you know, there's a fairly healthy damage mix here. You know, Udyr, you will be going Phoenix stance, so you have a little bit of AP damage. I mean, it's not a lot, but you also have the Seraphine. Curious to see if this is going to be the Moonstone Seraphine or just into that, like, Leandry's or Luden's Seraphine that you do get. I get the feeling that it will be AP Seraphine, just because that's what we're expecting on that front. But Shyvana is the one I'm curious about. You know, what are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I mean, the Shyvana is definitely very out there. It's one of these picks which can be a very, very powerful frontliner, as well as providing a lot of, like, strong base damage from the E. The very common build that we see is the Frostfire. I had struggling for the name there. The Frostfire enters the Demonic Embrace, and the AP, the like sort of 100-ish almost HP or AP rather that you get from the item, and then all of the tank stats kind of just makes you an unkillable bit of a poke machine, bit of a bruiser that can just kind of slowly melt down health bars, and that can be very obnoxious to deal with. I think especially when you look towards this draft from UniQ, which has DPS, yes, but a lot of that comes from the Yone. Other than that, it's primarily burst damage, right? And I think for them, they could struggle to take down this Shyvana if we get to that late stage point. But I am really looking again towards this mid lane matchup in terms of how volatile it's going to be. Both these guys are ready to it because they both have the Ignite. So they are playing for the 1v1. And it's just going to be about who has first move to this lane.
I'm very excited. to see how this mid lane goes as we are on to the Rift for our third game of the day. And arguably, as Jamada said, the most important game of the day. These two teams 1 point away from each other, with the fact that we've also seen Domino and Rising Dawn lose their games earlier on in the day. If Munster find this win, it really sets them up for success moving later on into today, as we are just kind of getting a good idea of where everybody is starting and looking to play from. Both junglers starting up on their blue sides and will be clearing up and down respectively. And curious to see how that's actually going to interact with their lanes. You know, is the Trundle going to look to try and jump onto Rote Bengay and Guff? Or is Shackle just going to look to try and power farm and then move towards this mid lane? As we've kind of stated before, we do expect the mid to be the place where the action is going to be going down. For now, though, you can kind of see it's just start off, get that farm, get maybe a little bit of a light trade in Harbo's favor. Eden just have to be a little bit careful on that front.
Yeah, I think for me, say Shakal, maybe power farm. Honestly, first clear could do. The lane setups aren't really there for him, so a full clear isn't necessarily off the cards, but I'll still be eyeing up that mid lane for sure. Decidere, expecting him to go for that full bot to top. You can do it very fast on Udyr still, even starting on the blue side of the map. Expecting this Renekton to get early priority is definitely a very solid guess as well. This is another pause.
I mean, we're 3 for 3 now on pauses.
Yeah, we actually are. I wonder, do we have a reason on each pause? Like, has it just been like something really minuscule, like a settings issue each time?
I don't know. Lag last game, so we're getting updates from the producer. We're waiting to find out exactly what the pause is, but it has been lags. It's been, you know, little things like that. So,
somebody's headset died.
Oh, that is pretty unlucky. You know what this gives us time to do? Have a moment. Have an Adrian and Jake moment. Okay. I asked you.
It's really weird when you call me Adrian sometimes, even though we are like actually real life friends. Like, I don't know. Sorry, it just took me back. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I know Adrian like that, so I can call him Adrian. That's why. Yeah. But you know, we were having this discussion in the break. Who wins in a fight? And I'm asking you guys at home. So let me know on Twitter. A big old saltwalker to crocodile, and I'm talking, you know, one of those big Florida ones you see walking across the golf courses, or a big old silverback gorilla. Who's winning that fight? You know, you've had the gorilla versus bear discussion. Well, we've definitely had that on air before.
And for the record, the bear wins that fight. It's
depending on the bear. A black bear loses that fight.
Yeah, because black bears are basically docile. Like,
or panda bear or koala bear. All of those kind of bears loses that fight. You got to be very clear on what kind of bear. Brown bear and polar bear, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh god, don't even introduce polar bear to the discussion, because those things are just like, you know, like fun but very scary fact. Polar bears are one of the few animals on the planet that actively hunt humans.
Every time someone mentions polar bears, this is a fact that always comes up.
Because there's just not that many facts. Scary fact, isn't it?
There's two facts about polar bears. They're like, their home is dying and melting away, and they like eating people. That's the two facts about polar bears there are.
You know, it's funny. Our producer says exactly what I was about to say. It seems like there might be a connection there. Yeah. All right. Coming back to the game, let us know in chat. I will open up the chat and see if anybody actually has any 2 cents on this topic. Silverback gorilla or one of those huge, you know, massive crocodiles that...
They're dinosaurs. I mean, these guys live the end of the world. They've had their own cataclysm.
Yeah.
They can live a gorilla.
I'm sure. There's Eden.
Oh, that's a good chain lash, actually. And he might be in trouble here, because the handshake could come in and catch him out. He has to flash immediately. Eden just about able to get away from that one.
Yeah, Decidere is going to have to come and cover this wave, but I think Eden has so little HP that I think he can really walk up. Munster just going to pay the respects of the appearance of Decidere. Just let it slide for now. Definitely a bit of a misstep there from Eden. Could have just blew the flash very early on. Still up 10 CS though, so 1-1 winning out on the matchup could potentially later on down the line suffering some minor XP differences.
Yeah, those XP differences can add up. He has got himself, you know, a farm lead at the moment. It's Nihu's and Skewer here taking a fight. I'm so happy to see Shyvana back. It's been a while. I'm also happy to see that it's Bruiser Shyvana and not this kind of like ridiculous mage Shyvana we had for a while when she did become meta again. And she just, you know, spit a fire breath out and you just lose most of your health. I mean, I guess it's somewhat thematic to dragons. You know, fire from dragon does a lot of damage.
Whoa, who would have thought?
Well, apparently not the Game of Thrones writers, because you see that dragon breathing on the like it melted the ice wall, but it couldn't hit Jon Snow behind a stone wall. God, I'm so salty.
Are we really talking about Game of Thrones like 3
Yeah.
years after it happened?
Yeah.
Because, man, that was an eon ago, man. 3 years? Like,
Was it 3?
literally
I
airing.
feel like it's
Yes.
more, but
It didn't happen during the pandemic, right? It
Yeah,
aired the year
yeah.
before. Yeah.
I'm still salty. It's
Oh,
all this time and it still hurts, but it looks like actually something that might hurt is Munster right now. Fastleg flashes away, but in comes the bear slap. The beat drop goes wide, and Fastleg shall live. Desidre been getting so much damage pumped into him, is able to just about get away, but Revelius is feeling it, actually chasing a little bit more, but this time the beat drop connects, and now they find the turnaround as in jumps Harbo into the middle of everyone. The fight has not ended yet. Harbo being chased, they catch the knockup. Fastleg falls down. Great pillar comes in from Shaco, and Munster lose one.
All right, I don't know how only one person died there. I think it's because so many unique spells were dodged out on very early on in that skirmish. Eventually, it's Fastleg that pays for this fight with his life. Considerate Smite very early on. Shakala's still here with Smite. If they just wait out the cooldown, it should be okay, but they're looking to maybe burst this down. Shakala doesn't want to let it go.
No, he really doesn't. Rote Benge walking up to try and play interrupt, but the pillar comes in immediately, and Rote Benge goes down. Shako trying to get into the pit in time. He jumps in. He fails the smite. It's denied. Shako flashless in for a world of hurt. They're going to try and keep him up for as long as possible. The bailout could come down in time. There it is. He revives. Unique are crumbling right now to Munster. A double kill to Harbo. Goffe able to get away. What a horrific failure.
God, Unique, they're going to feel bad about that one. Over a Cloud Dragon, they just wanted to secure it. Shakal, he flashes in, doesn't get the smite, but it's just the fight that ensues afterwards. The bailout, enough to keep Shakal alive. The timing just right. Oh boy. Munster with a lead like this. 3 kills on a Silas. A really powerful ultimate to steal away as well. It's enough to snowball with, for sure, if it can be played with. Well, let's get a look at the original fight, because so much kind of just goes wrong for Unique from the get-go. Dredge line, barely got. I've seen Lawless Hurts hit over thicker walls than that. Considerate Bear slaps Fastleg out of getting hit from the beat drop, which is just unlucky timing. And from this point on, it just turns into a bit of a fiesta, right? The turnaround comes in, Revelius, has the shielding to just about survive, but then on the top side of the fight, Harbo comes in, gets forced out, but it's Eden with the Soul Unbound and the additional Q3 that finds the range to get on top of Fastleg with the Ignite as well to take him down. But it's about the extended here, because Unique are like, okay, well, I'm sure we have this dragon now. Munster probably given this up, but they're just here still. Roabegi face checks, dies, Harbo almost gets bursted out. You can see Eden goes for the rundown, but Shakal is more interested in the dragon. Guffey's out of mana.
Oh, 41 HP. It was so close as well. Into a very clean tied up. Harbo, though, is low, does need to reset. He's worth a lot of money as well, so he's going to be able to get that reset off in time. Eden not going to be able to interrupt him with that Mortal Steel. And Harbo gets back to health, gets back on the base, and we'll look to get on the rifts as quick as possible. Almost got a fair few items as the beat drop connects, actually. Revelius losing a lot of health to Guffey. Guffey kind of used everything in the tank, though, so just able to take about half his health as Unique now turning their attention towards their second objective and trying to pick up this Rift Herald here, while the side of Munster kind of caught sleeping on resets.
Yeah, that's what it is all about, though. Let's pick up those early objectives. Yes, the first one was a bit of a disaster, but still Considerate doing his job on the Udyr, leveraging his level lead to make it to these neutrals before enemy jungler, just using a little bit of lane priority as well. You get great drop from them. So now in terms of where this Herald will go, I think kind of the most potent and obvious answer is probably mid lane, right? I think you want to try and get this Yone online as soon as possible. But also there's definitely a lot of credits to giving Guffey any amount of gold he can take, because you've got 4 meaties on your composition with a Seraphine. You're just going to be looking to buff them up. So the sooner you can get her online, it's definitely going to feel quite potent too. As a hello kick here. Onto Harbo.
Oh, Harbo.
Pillar.
It's going to be okay. That pillar coming in unbelievably clutch. Skewer has got the Dragon's Descent, so does have that kind of extra engage or disengage tool as he is looking to run Nihu's down. Oh my word. The double bite from Skewer, able to do a lot of damage. Now they've actually looked to catch out on to Shackle. He's unable to move as he is just immediately taken down. No good ultimates for Harbo to steal away and try and save the day there.
The spot side of the jungle is Unique's, and Unique's alone. Shkal tries to face check, gets absolutely CC chained to death. Yes. Doesn't have the ultimate. Need the Skewer to be fair. Of course, it's blown them second to go. But kind of expected in this top side of the map. Renekton, a lot of priority winning out in the early trades, CS lead. Definitely, again, we kind of questioned where the Shyvana would play into the team composition. Maybe it's still later on. Of course, that's when it starts to get a little bit unkillable here as Harbo. Could have been in trouble if Fate Sealed was there.
Harbo's been honestly making quite a few mistakes, to be honest. Every time we look at him, he's very, very low HP. And this is the guy who started with 3 kills, so we kind of just thought mid would be set. And every time I looked at him, he's been chunked out, and it's just afforded them time to get pressure into the Herald, and then get a couple of plates, and then turn that Herald that they got from the mid pressure earlier into a dragon, into a tower. And now the lead that was picked up by Harbo has been somewhat kind of decelerated by Eden, and actually Eden has pulled ahead in the gold lead, even though he's only got 1 kill and 1 assist.
Yeah, not just decelerated, as you put it, like succeeded as well. By over
Surpassed,
yeah. About 500,000 gold. And Unique just gonna turn this into another dragon as well. Off the back of the mid lane priority, bottom side as well set. First I am in for the Udyr. First in the game to reach that. Just pick this one up, and we actually don't have the icon in the top left, but it's a mountain because I can see the big pop-up. There we go. And that's going to be huge. That's a really big high roll, honestly, for this Unique composition.
yeah.
More melees, Seraphine, more resists to work off the shields. That's big. Big, big, big.
I mean, both teams will probably be quite happy with that. You know, the extra survivability on both teams. They're going to both be happy with that. Yeah, sure, Jinx probably, you know, would rather have the Hex Tech or the Infernal, but, you know, what you're saying is that Demonic Embrace, which kind of gives you that stacking resistances, then buffed up by the fact that you have the mountain resistances. Shackle, I mean, he's going to have extra resistances, but then also stealing resistances. Harbo wants to be able to stand in the fights for as long as possible because he's going to be stacking a lot of the health with his build, but less resistances on that front. So, you know, I think both teams are probably quite happy with that soul. I mean, there are better ones, and I'm sure they would both rather have had the Hex Tech or the Infernal, but they'll be both happy with this mountain.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. Do you know what it's not, Jake?
A cloud.
Exactly. As long as it's not a cloud. I will slander cloud until the end of my days. I don't even care.
I used to be a bit of a cloud, you know, enthusiast. I didn't think it was the best thing in the world, but I don't think it was worthy of the criticism that it received. But I think now in its current state, it is worthy of the criticism.
Look, I think after we had,
it's the Meg of Dragons.
After Hextech was, you know, introduced to the game, and also the dragon that shall not be named was also present in the game for a couple of patches. It just feels too weak as a brief exchange.
So they're actually keeping this up. Yeah, he has popped the ghost. He's really vibing, but with Eden no ultimate, probably best not to take that fight. And they are actually going to look to step away from that, cool off the action on that front, and just see his red buff being taken away. Desidre is just going to have to step away. Doesn't want to fight that at all.
Yeah, actually, pretty interesting. I think the fact that Eden doesn't have ultimate is probably the big reason as to why this call is being taken here, because Neos just came out of base with a Blade of the Ruined King, so he's ready to fight, but Eden was not, so they just called to drop the red buff. It's just a red buff. I do know for a fact, though, if I was on the Udyr, that red buff would be in my pocket right now. I wouldn't let that one go. It's just the sake of being stubborn, but Unique. Recognize there's no need to flurry the game. Potentially, like dear old caster Jamada would. That's why I'm a caster in their players.
True.
But I think Unique sitting pretty comfortably in this game. all things considered, right? Start to look at all of the items coming in. First items across the board now for UniQ, except for the support role, but we don't count those. Shkal moving towards the Kempunk Chainsword. Should have that one relatively soon. But Skewer, I think with all of those components in his inventory, is going to be a little whiles away from that. So at least this third dragon fight, I don't know if Munster are really going to be able to stand up and contest it unless they get a really key pick before the fight kicks off entirely.
Yeah, it's going to be a big ask for them. But on the other side, UniQ, they're just setting themselves up for success on this. They're going to pick up this crab to be their second herald for themselves. And, you know, they can use this to buy pressure. But that pick then kind of the odds of getting that pick get even slimmer. The slim pickings become even slimmer at this point because you can slam it down in the bot or the mid wave, pull pressure away from the dragon, get control of the pit, and then just take it. There's no way, if you're Munster, like you said, when you're sitting on a lot of basically just components other than a couple of players, it's going to be hard to go for. But Skewer has now finished up that Frozen Fist. You've also got the Ludens onto Harbo, and you've also got the Kraken Slayer onto Revelius. So, you know, they are slowly starting to find a couple of items themselves, but Revelius takes a lot of damage from that beat drop there from Guffey. And Guffey, with the Leandries and the Lucidity Boots, has a lot of cooldown reduction to work with here, so you can basically constantly spam abilities. The Chainsword does come out from Shackle, so items are finally being matched, but on the other side, you know, they're now halfway through their next items. The Zeal picked up for Eden. You know, obviously, like I said, there's Boots 2 onto Guffey, who goes off and gets himself a tier that's stacking up as well. He's had that tier for a while. But, you know, slowly but surely, they're starting to pick up more and more items over their opponents. And like you're saying, it's going to be very hard for Munster to contest this third dragon.
Tanky frontline. With Seraphine buffing up. It's just going to be
oh,
though.
Harbo needs to line up this. He gets a good ultimate steal away, though, so that's going to be pretty big on that front. Now has himself his own encore. Teleports coming out from Nihus, and I think we might be in for a bit of action here immediately. Rote Benge jumps forward to catch everyone out. The encore only climbs onto a couple of members as Nihus has found Revelius, but Revelius is flashing over the wall to safety. Eden connected with a Fate Sealed, pings back to safety, but it is all coming up Munster right now. Guffey, though, remains untouched at the moment. A knockup does come in, and actually, UniQ may have just found their opportunity as in jumps Eden once again.
Oh my God.
Eden is tidying up the whole lobby. A triple kill for him. Gets himself the Fate Seal, jumps forward, looks for Skewer. Skewer being chased out. One more Q. It's an unofficial quadra over to the side of Eden. It was not coming up Munster. It was most certainly not.
Oh my God, Eden just pump stops that team fight, man. Holy moly. Unofficial quadra. The back of what looked like should have just been a near clean wipe for Munster. They find the initial part of the fight. I think they picked off on Bengi, and from there they could maybe just look to turn. But I think the initial dive from Nias to Revelius forces him into such an awkward position that Eden is able to just capitalize on with the range of the Ulma and the Soul Unbound. And from there, they're just able to play out the fight. I thought maybe it would be a little bit too awkward when Guffey gets separated, and we'll talk about it as we get to it. As here, the initial re-engage is great. Fast legs ultimate and this charm from the stolen away encore is just too much to deal with. But look at how much damage Nias deals to Revelius. Almost one-shots him, but look at Eden. He's still got vision. He snaps forward. The Fate Seal doesn't quite connect, which honestly kind of surprised about, but it doesn't matter because the job is still done. Eden recognizes he's about to get bursted out a little bit too heavily, flashes over the wall to a little bit of safety after getting out as much damage as he possibly could. With Guffey and Desidere in support, takes the blast coming back over, and just monsters on the entire team one by one with the support of Guffey. Excellent stuff from the remaining members there as a...
Oh. Harbo actually could be able to finish him up here. Gets the slow off with that chain lash. The rest of the team are coming around to make sure that kill is absolutely guaranteed. As Desidere chasing him forward. He's got himself the bear slap. Eden actually cancels out on his E there. Has the ultimate up. If he can line this up, that could be huge. Guffey also can enable him here. Decide not to actually chase for anything else. And UniQ are just going to take the L on that front. While Revelius will be able to get this tower shut down for his team. Got himself the Zeal, the Kraken Slayer. He has enough attack speed to be able to finish this one up. That's going to be a big injection of cash into that Jinx, who really needs it at the end of this. The Skewer also going to pick up a tower shutdown for themselves as that double bite from the Q. It's going to be able to do a fair amount of damage to this tower, and with Revelius hanging about.
I'm just going to say it. I feel like objective bounties need to be retuned.
Yeah?
A little bit.
In what way?
So I think that neutrals, specifically Heralds and Dragons, it seems like have a really heavy sway on whether or not these bounties are. Because, I mean, realistically, Munster are 2,000 gold.
Harbour, you missed that out, mate, and now you're going to get your own fate sealed. Eden picks that kill up, and Shackle might chase as the Ignite is down, but the Bear Slap's up and available, so there is no way they want to continue that, as they do just get a bit of damage onto Shackle just to send him a message. Eden, with the Vamp Scepter, or the Shield Bow even, able to heal himself back up quite comfortably, and now he just wants to pressure out onto this tower, gets a little bit of damage out onto Shackle to make sure this tower goes down. Pings back, but he's now left Disadre alone in the middle of everyone. Rote Benge making his way over. Guffey's also in the area, so there is the encore onto 2. The depth charge goes down as well, and that is going to be easy kills for UniQ. Beautifully lined up abilities.
Oh, the Baron's up. Do they want to risk it? Just kill Chakal. They do have the damage.
It's a fairly healthy one.
Yeah. 2 items on a Yone. I think they could toy with the idea, and I mean, Munster are certainly toying with the fact that they could also be doing this one, but just a reset from UniQ, so they're just going to get the teleport for free. Really nice stuff. That encore was excellent from Guffey. What were we talking about before that fight broke out? I feel like it was a pretty important topic, but my brain
Oh, no.
See,
Were we off topic when you say important, or were you talking about actually important?
Oh, yeah, objective bounties. Yeah,
yes.
really, like, I just feel like early on the Dragons, like, sway a little bit too much, whatever the formula underneath the hood is. Because we were just at a point where Munster were 2,000 gold behind UniQ, and the objective bounties were just casually still there. You know, like, should they still be there at that point? You know what I mean? Like, 2,000 gold? Especially if it's like being split between 5 different members. Obviously, League of Legends is very rarely equally, distributed like that in terms of resources. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it is. That's what, like, 400 gold, give or take, a lead between each individual member. Should the team then be getting an extra couple hundred gold per neutral they get? I don't know, man. Yeah, it seems a little bit.
I agree. I actually believe Oak, when I was on him on Thursday, was ranting quite a bit about just shutdown as well, and like the way that's calculated, and you're not a big fan of that either.
Fair, I think shutdown has actually gotten a lot better over these. I will say. I think it's actually a lot more accurate compared to what it was when it first came out. I think we should stop talking about it though, because Dragon's up in 25 seconds time, and it's so UniQ. So Munster really have to do their number here and win the fight. Oh!
Into the Fate Seal, Revelius is not going to survive. He is down. And this is a slaughter from UniQ. Skewer trying to run away. A double kill picked up for the Crocodile. And that is just easy pickings on that front. UniQ just look amazing right now.
That was a massacre, and it could have been even worse because Guffey's ultimate actually just about fizzled before it hit the Fate Sealed targets. Shakal, you can respect the attempt, but unfortunately, isn't going to be able to find the steal. Skewer. Nope. With that soul, just expect them to go towards the Baron. UniQ looking to kill Munster's hopes off as much as they can for today. We spoke about how important of a win this would be for Munster in particular, for the standings, of course, but for UniQ, winning this game, but effectively gets them their playoff ticket.
They're going to be able to get the Baron. Yeah, there's not really going to be any contest unless Fastleg somehow steals this away. Does throw a cheeky handshake. Baron has been picked up. The beat drop comes in, and Harbo, he wants to take this fight right now. He throws out the encore, only catches onto Decidre, as Eden doesn't have his ultimate up and available, so they're not really particularly vibing the fight. Gonna get the Q knocked up, and maybe a 3-man knock-up comes in from Eden. They get the Dragon to send off. Everyone's low HP. The encore goes a little bit wide, and the Fate Seals now come back up, so Eden's able to make easy work of everybody in this lobby. UniQ get Baron, they get Soul, and then they get yet another team fight back to back. The pillar from Shackle only going to slow down the just the march from UniQ towards their base.
I don't know who angered Eden today, but he is just on a massacre. In every single team fight, it just feels like the center of UniQ's success is just off the back of an Eden plate time and time again. Yone is turning up huge, has an Infinity Edge now to boot with a PF sword on top of it. I don't know if Munster have the damage to stand up to what UniQ are putting down right now, because it's a full bruiser composition with a Mountain Soul and a Yone who just seems unkillable whilst being shielded by this Seraphine. Nothing short of a miracle is going to save Munster right now. They're down 10,000 gold. This is when objective bounty should be up, but right now Munster are in no position to claim them.
Yeah, there's going to be no way they can get anywhere near any of these towers. On the side of UniQ, though, fairly small wave, but they've got another wave coming in just behind it, so they can pressure out on this as hard as possible. And it is just a 5-man death ball as Revelius just loses so much health, gets caught by the beat drop. They're not going to be able to finish him up, but that should just be enough to force Munster off this. And this is just a very, very one-sided affair. A hook comes in from Rose Benge on the skewer, just enough to chunk him somewhat. And with all the ultimates up on UniQ, all it takes is one misstep or one big engage to kick it off. Everybody gets caught out though, and a massive charm comes in. Eden has thrown the ultimate down, and the gauntlet is severed. Down goes 2 members, making it 3, making it 4, making it an absolute whitewash on the side of UniQ. They are ace, they are slammed. UniQ look absolutely brilliant going towards playoffs.
Woo! What an exciting game to watch. Those team fights were stellar from UniQ. Eden in particular, we're going to say his name a lot going into the post game there. Fantastic team fighting, honestly, on the It's not often that we get to see, you know, such a flashy pick unleashed in team fights like that. But this is one of those rare games where it is, and you have to feel a little bit bad for Munster, I feel, because you get a 3-0 Silas start. It feels like typically you would be able to snowball around that, but I just felt like Desiderae was a little bit too fast on tempo. That first Dragon fight as well just didn't end up going their way. Eden again tearing down the house proper there. And unfortunately, the Dragon stacking was just too effective. And it seemed like for UniQ, they were always ahead of the curve on those Dragon timers. And unfortunately, Munster never really had a true in. And with that, they go to 7 and 10. It's not mathematically over. You guys are the ones with the foldy sheets. I don't do the foldy sheets business. It's not mathematically done, but like,
it gives them a very it's a harder road, right? Like, it's a very hard road now for Munster, but UniQ, they are looking unbelievably good. We are going to throw it though to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll actually have a chat with the guys from UniQ about that game. So we'll see you in a moment.
1.